Hello, and welcome back to another episode of An Unorthodox CEO. I am, as always, Steve Pickering, the CEO of Sussex Beds, and today we are joined by a leading figure, I'm going to say, from our industry, Oliver Bowen.
Thank you, leading figure. Great, thank you so much.
Well, we've had a brief conversation before we started,
yes.
and I'm so excited to get stuck in with where you've come through our industry, which is absolutely fascinating. Yeah. And you've spent over 20 years in the luxury end of the industry.
Yes.
And I think there'll be many people that listen and be surprised to know how high you can, or how much you can spend on a bed.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, most people would be surprised that you could spend more than £5,000 on a bed.
Yeah.
You can spend more than £150,000 on a bed.
Yes.
And people do.
Yes. Yeah.
Some people do. So
it's going to be really fascinating talking about the real premium level of beds and products within our industry.
Yes.
And how you found your way into the industry. We're going to go through that and how it's evolved, how the industry's evolved over the last 20 plus years as well. So really excited to get going. But before we go any further, please don't forget to press that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future episodes.
I have, and I will, and I won't.
We've got a subscriber live here.
Yes, I've done all of that.
Oh, we've got one. We've got one.
Yes, me. Yeah.
One person has listened. Fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Give us some background of how you found your way into this sleepy, wonderful industry that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, I don't think many people, when they're at school, say they wanted to work in a bed shop. But actually, when I was at school, I remember saying to the careers person that's exactly what I did want to do. I did want to work in a shop when I was. I started working in retail when I was 16. And I started working for Toys R Us. And I ended up staying there for 6 years and absolutely loved it. Because I was only part-time, obviously, in the evenings and what have you during school time. And I remember saying to this careers advisor, well, no, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. Yeah. And it is what I did. Yeah. Up to, 6-7 years I did it, something like that. But the bed-wise, I started in 2002. It was a job. I mean, at the time I needed a job. Yeah. And I applied and I went to meet this sort of funny, quirky bed company, which was And So to Bed.
And So to Bed,
back in 2002, who I think at the time had, I think it was something like 8 shops or, half a dozen shops. Privately owned. They were very big into their statement pieces. Big beds, big sleigh beds, big 4-poster beds, very opulent, very grand, over the top. And that's how I started in 2002. I was first working at their store on the King's Road. Yeah. They've still got a presence on the King's Road, and then moved to the Milton Keynes store. Then over the years, I mean, I just got into it. I enjoyed it, and then progressed through the ranks with them. Yeah. And loved every minute of it.
Yeah. And it is an addictive industry, isn't it? I think you really know when you're in this industry, when you start going to hotels and lifting up sheets and linen. Well, let's see who makes this bed. Yes. That's when you know you have a problem.
And also when you tell people you work in the bed industry, it's a bit like being a doctor, I would imagine, where people then always say to you, oh, I need a new bed, oh, I do this, oh, I haven't slept, or I've this, or I bought one and this, and you end up having that sort of consultancy wherever you are when people find out you're in beds, because it's the one thing when you wake up in the morning, you instantly know if you've had a good night's sleep or if you've had a bad night's sleep. And I mean, I've got small children. And the first question is, how did you sleep? Because I know if they've had a good night and a good night's sleep, they're going to have a good day. And if chances are, if they have a good day, the chances are we're going to have a good day.
Exactly. And that's why everyone needs a good bed and a good night's sleep.
Everybody does. And the difference, you know yourself, the difference it makes.
Oh, goodness me,
You know, you perform at a higher level in business, socially, in your work, whatever you might do, if you do sports, gym, whatever it might be. You just perform better. And I don't think there's enough emphasis on it, on the benefits. People are looking for shortcuts all the time. You know, they think they can buy sleep in a can of fizzy caffeinated water. You can't. No. You can't. Just go to bed 10 minutes earlier.
Absolutely.
And save the money.
Yes.
There you go. There's the advice.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. We're done now.
Yeah. Click that bit. Click that bit, Victoria. We'll put that out. Yeah.
But let's come back to to bed. So were they always a premium bed retailer?
Oh yes,
right from the
right from the off. Because I mean, it started because the owner back in the 70s was changing his bed, and he had an original brass bedstead. And he put it in loot. You remember? There's a reference there for the kids. So he put it in loot, brass bedstead for sale. You know, £100, whatever it was, and he got inundated with phone calls for people wanting this. So he ended up sourcing another one, you know, bought it from some flea market or other, for put another one in the paper, inundated with phone calls. So he did that a few times. They thought, well, there's something in this. So being an entrepreneur, started making and replicating and making these replica brass bedsteads and selling them. And then, you know, wholesale them out to other retailers, and then did his own one. So that's how the company started.
Wow.
Started in loot, selling beds one at a time.
Amazing.
Yeah, quite remarkable.
And then focused on the premium level of products. I mean, brass.
Yes. So from there, brass beds. Then the natural was to go with wooden beds. And again, fashion and trends change, and at the time the sort of dark wood look was very in. So the Libato sleigh style beds were in, 4-poster beds, for the customer that values that and wants something a little bit different, and maybe a little bit design led. I think when you're at the top end of the market, 80% of the customers should say, "You got to be joking." You got to be joking. But the 20% love it. And you're better off having 20% love it. You know, the biggest killer to any business is indifference. You know,
absolutely.
It's okay. And if it's okay, then you can get okay anywhere.
So you progressed through the company and found yourself as a sales director?
I was, So I was a sales director during quite challenging times. You know, this was after the financial crash, 2008, 2009. So I was the sales director then. And I mean, as with a lot of premium brands, you know, the number one focus was survival. You know, and you had to look at the business very differently because the focus came a lot about cost control. You know, up to that point, you know, you'll remember back to 2007, 2006, 2007, business was easy, relatively easy, or it seemed easy looking back. You know, in your biggest form of marketing was, you know, unlocking the doors at 9 o'clock and then locking them back again at 6 o'clock. You know, and that's kind of all you had to do because you had enough customers. Where if you've got enough customers, it can hide a lot of costs and it can hide a lot of mistakes. But when you can't rely can't rely on footfall. So all of a sudden we found we couldn't rely on it. You know, you couldn't rely on, it's going to be Saturday soon. Saturday will get us out of the mire. You couldn't rely on that because you couldn't rely on footfall. So you had to look at other areas of the business and say, okay, can we tighten our belts a little bit here? And you start to track things. We hadn't tracked anything up to that point. All we had to do was look at the figures. We take money, okay, great. But all of a sudden, let's start tracking things. And, as with anything in business, if you track it and monitor it, you can improve it.
What you can't measure, you can't change.
Yeah. And so we started to
Yeah.
track things, monitor things, and make our money work a little bit harder. So if we are investing, we did continue to invest. Let's make sure we're doing a much more targeted approach rather than a scattergun approach. Those sort of budgets went in terms of marketing.
Yeah.
We were spending exorbitant amounts of money.
I think that's so true. I, as you're saying that, I can see our own business, at very similar time, 2008, 2010, 2012, we went through quite a challenging period. And it was only when we then started plugging leaks and measuring things that the change actually happened, and suddenly we were getting on top of things again.
Yes.
So it's fascinating that at the same sort of time we're all having to do the very similar things.
Yes, yeah, and it's extraordinary when you look very closely at the business, because I think by then we may have had, I don't know, a total of 20 stores or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can have a store here, same products, same marketing spend, same training for the staff. This store's performing at this level, but this store's performing at this level.
Yes.
And so, what's happening?
Yeah.
Whys, and it's much more the whys. And so when you're reporting at sort of board level or strategy level, it became more about, well, what's this store doing that this store's not doing?
Absolutely.
As I say, prior to that, you were just grateful for the figure at the bottom, rather than running each store as its own P&L.
Yes. Yes.
Like I say, plug the leaks.
Is it a conversion problem? Is it an average order value problem? And then you target what the problem is, and not just throw money at, let's try and get more people in, which might not be the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's if you want to look for the benefits of recession, is it makes you look very closely at a business.
Definitely.
It makes you really look, and makes you understand the business a lot more as well.
Painful as they are, almost necessary to make you better coming out the other side.
Yeah, and how you get that across to the teams. Otherwise, they'll just view it as penny pinching.
Yes.
Well, it's not a question of pinching pennies. It's a question of, we've got limited pennies, so let's spend them where we know it's going to work. Yeah. So if I've got this store that's doing really well at whatever it might be, okay, well then they're going to get more money than this store that's not producing the same level. So it's not a question of penny pinching. It's a question of knowing where to pinch and where to spend, rather than a scattergun approach.
Yeah. Yeah, it just resonates. It's how we're all going through the same things at the same times, and that's really, really cool. So from your time in and so to bed, where did you go on from there?
So I left there in 2014. Yeah, and from there I went to Feather and Black, which at the time Feather and Black was owned by the Wade family. Yeah. So Robbie and Adam, who started it, they had both exited the business, been bought by the Wade family, who owned Multi York Furniture Company and Wade Springs Upholstery and so on. And they had, as part of that, they'd bought Feather and Black, and it was being run by Dan Wade, who was Charles Wade's son. So he was going in. He'd gone in as managing director. And I'd met him a few times at industry events and so on. So I went there. I spoke to Dan and the board, and at the time they were really a crossroads where they had grown and they were doing quite well. They had 33 stores at the time, which had really grown from a mail order business. That's how the business started. So it started as a mail order, a mail order business. And so when it came to marketing and customer communications, they were very good at that, because that's where the DNA of the business was. And then from there it had grown, and it had grown to a really good size. Of course, it came with its own challenges in terms of identity and brand positioning. Where do you want to sit on the high street?
Yes.
You know, do you want to sit at the higher end? So the stores, if you remember, the stores looked fabulous. I mean,
incredible.
They
we
were
used
great.
to look up to, admire and aspire.
They were great. They were great. But the biggest problem they had was that the stores looked great. They were in prime locations, so in sort of a sort of locations. But they had mattresses at £199, and you're not going to make money in stores like that selling £199 beds.
When you're saying that it was mail order, that's probably where that come from. Mail order, much lower end, higher volume. On the high street, you really need to look to maximise your intake, and to do so, your average order value, your values need to be much further up than on mail order.
Yeah, and this was kind of the problem they had, was that they were a little bit schizophrenic, really, which I say in the nicest way, in that it looked like premium business.
Yes.
Their locations were in premium locations.
Yes.
They were on Chiswick High Street. They were on Fulham Road. They were at Hammersmith. So the locations were premium. In other words, the rents were premium.
Yes.
Yet their average ticket wasn't there. It wasn't there. It didn't match.
No.
It didn't match. And so we had to do a lot of work getting that average ticket up. I think in business, you monitor your footfall, your conversion, and your average ticket.
Yeah.
Well, they were very good. Their footfall was good, because I say that they were from a sort of direct marketing background. So footfall-wise, they were good. Their conversion rate was good. It was higher than the average. But the average ticket price was just you're too low. It's just you're not going to make money doing that. So the exercise was, let's get that average ticket up.
Yeah.
Let's get that up. So let's bring in products with a little bit more meat on the bone.
Premium. Yeah.
Because we had a great marketing department. So I knew if we had the products and we had the story around it and the training around it, the marketing department would be able to shift and bring in new customers.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed. We needed new customers that perhaps wouldn't have shopped with us previously.
Yeah.
They would have gone to a Feather and Black, or they would have gone to a Simon Horn or whoever it was at the time.
Yeah.
We needed to pinch those customers. Great time.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was burning cash at the time as well. So we had to sort of firefight that a little bit. Yeah.
Again, knowing your data and attacking the right thing, though, is what turns these things around, isn't it?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
And from Feather and Black, where did you find yourself?
Well, from Feather and Black, I found myself with Hästens, Swedish company.
Yes.
And I think there's a distinction really between premium and luxury.
Yes.
And I think the way I define it is premium is the top of the high street.
Yep.
Once you're in the luxury sector,
Yes.
that's a very different world.
Yes.
Then you're into boutiques.
Yes.
You're in boutiques in key capital cities around the world. And at uber luxury, they limit supply.
Yes.
For a start. So they'll make a limited edition bed and say, we're only going to make 100 of these beds,
Yes.
and you're buying bed number 23 of 100. And then once they sell out 100, that's it. When you're in the level below that, the premium level, which is kind of where I sit now with Carpe Diem beds, you're at the top end of the high street, but you don't do things like limit supply and things like that. But Hästens was at that. Even where I was at the time, it was the next level, and they were. I mean, I don't know what their starting prices now, but I mean, when I was there, it was, I think, £10,000 or something like that.
£10,000 starting.
Starting price.
Yeah.
You know, starting, and then you were up.
So do you think that that's interesting that you say that? So do you think that price was determined more on the quality of the product and what it delivered, or was it the scarcity? Was it the scarcity that pushed it?
I think scarcity is a lot of it, and you'll see this in any luxury brand.
Yeah,
scarcity is kind of what drives the price.
Yeah,
you know, if you go and try and buy a very expensive handbag from Birkin, they will only make a very limited number of them. They'll qualify you before you buy it.
Yeah.
So you can't just roll up and buy one. They need to know that you're in there and you've bought from them previously, or all the rest of it, or we've only got 2 for sale, and you know the others are in your. So limiting it is a lot, and also marketing the product, but also I think in development, R&D, and when you're at the higher end, I think that's it's the bits people don't see. What they don't see is that all they see is a bed on the floor.
Yes.
But and I know, because again we're kind of doing this project at the moment with Carpe Diem and developing, you know, beds and new ranges. It will take more than a year to get it right. Yeah. You know, and this again, of course, this is what customers don't see, and I think when you're at the lower end of the market, it's kind of the same. Yes, twists and a little, but when you're at the premium or luxury end of the market, it is the development, the research that's gone in, prototyping. You know, you could remake a bed 6 times before you get it right. Till you've got that right feel. Where's this gonna fit in our range, in our range architecture and price architecture? Where's this gonna fit in? What's it gonna feel like? You know, these are the things that when you're at the top end, people don't understand what goes into it. And behind the scenes, and how long it takes to get these products ready for the shop floor. Yeah.
And you've mentioned, so you're now working with Carpe Diem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're Swedish?
Swedish, yes.
So what's their I guess whether they're unique, or?
Yeah. So Carpe Diem came about. So I was between Hästens Carpe Diem. I was self-employed. So I was self-employed for 6 years as an agent, a furniture agent, and I didn't have a bed company as part of my portfolio. And I mean, I'd done consulting work, and I'd spoken to many European bed brands, and a lot of them wanted to crack the UK market. I was living in Sweden at the time. Just throw that in, and. A lot of these companies wanted to crack the UK market, but when they really look into it, and post-Brexit and what have you, it's too difficult. So they were like, we can just increase our sales elsewhere. But then I came across Carpe Diem because I saw them somewhere, and I approached them and said, I think there's room for you in the UK market. The UK is a bit stagnant. So long story short, I came on with them as a agent, represented them in the UK, and it's a very different product. It's a very European product, and so by that I mean the look of it is very different. So we have a separate top mattress. So we have the base, the middle mattress, and a top mattress. And a lot of companies will sell you a top mattress or topper as an optional extra. With us, and the way they do it certainly in the Scandinavian countries, that top mattress, which is completely separate, is integral to the overall feel and longevity of the bed. So they're Swedish, only been going since 1995. So in the bed world, that's really quite young. You know, a lot of these heritage brands have been going 100 years plus, and they've got their lane. You know, these other heritage brands, they've got their lane. What they do very well. But they kind of can't veer out of it. But when you're a younger brand like we are, say only since '95, you could be a lot more agile and not set in your way. So if we find a better way of doing something, or we find a better product, a better filling, we can adjust.
Yes.
We can adjust. And so, I mean, I'll give you an example. So Carpe Diem was started by a chiropractor. So that's how it started.
Yeah.
He had been in the market. He had bought a bed as a consumer, was never 100% happy with it. And then one day he was out on one of these islands off the west coast of Sweden, picnic with the family, puts his blanket down on the heather on the island, lies down on this blanket to have his lunch. And he was feeling more comfortable and more supported on this blanket, on this heather, than he was on this bed that he had just bought, what he perceived to be the best bed. So from a chiropractor's perspective, he was questioning, well, what's this heather and this blanket? What's this giving me that this bed that I've just spent X amount on is not giving me? So he discusses this with a friend who's an entrepreneur, designer. So between the two of them, they start discussing this. Well, so one's coming at it from a design perspective, and one's coming from a chiropractor's wellness, health, support, comfort perspective. Long story short, they form a bed company, but these two aspects were key at the time and still are. It's got to look fantastic, and it's got to look different, and it's got to look. I'm trying not to use the word designer, but it's got to look
Style.
nice.
Yeah.
But also, we're not going to do that and compromise the feel of it.
Comfort and the feel, which
yeah. So that's built in. That's built into the DNA.
Yeah.
They look fabulous. They look different. They look European. So by that, they're very, very sort of straight. It's very clean, but also they've got to do the job.
Yeah.
They've got to be fabulously comfortable, supported, and you've got to wake up ready to go.
Yeah. And you've led the bringing this through into the UK.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge of bringing in a new premium or luxury product into the UK? What's the biggest challenges?
The biggest challenge has been finding retailers who are forward-looking. You have to be forward-looking. Look, I mean, you know, I've been a retailer myself, which I think helps. I know if somebody takes 6 beds off the floor to put in 6 beds of ours that are new, for them untested. Yeah. You know, the 6 beds that they're taking off, they might not be taking as much money as they would like, but they know how much these 6 beds are giving them.
Yes.
So to bring in a new product, you've got to have that vision and balls. Can I say balls?
Yeah.
So you thank you. You've got to have the vision and the balls to say, okay, let's go for it. And the bed industry is not known for risks.
No,
it's a very safe industry.
Yes,
it's very safe. They've got their key suppliers that they've worked with for however many years. They know roughly what they're going to take with it. They know roughly what the margins are going to be on it.
Yes.
They know the price points. They know where they are. They're comfortable with it. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you're going to retailers and saying, okay, I think I've got something that's going to make a difference to your business.
Yeah.
And I always say to everybody, you know, you're a seller, you're here to sell. I'm not here to sell you anything.
No.
I'm here to help you grow your business.
Yeah.
You know, if you want me to try and do that, I can do that.
Yeah.
But it's finding those partners that are the right people.
Yes.
And the ones that aren't just about price.
Yes.
You know, if it's price, there's 100 places you can go.
It's got to be purpose led.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was just about price, then everybody would just buy from Amazon.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Before we started recording, we were speaking about some of the places some of the stores you've put these on have been really successful, and some with exactly the same demographic and reach and footfall have been less so. And we spoke about what is the big difference there, and we spoke about people actually on the floor. The people on the floor make a huge difference.
Oh, it really does. You're right. I mean, we were talking about this when we were in hair and makeup earlier.
Yeah.
And thank you for that, Victoria, by the way. And honestly, you can have two stores, same demographic, same products, same marketing. And the results can be completely different.
Yes.
And it just comes down to the people on the floor, the people working on the floor.
Yes.
And often just having the confidence to say to somebody, "Oh, I've got something new over here.
Yes. Yes.
I've got something new here.
Yeah.
Go on, why don't you come and give it a try?"
Yeah.
And I always think with staff on the floor, and again, I have these conversations very regularly. Oh, well, if I've got a customer who's committed, they're committed to this bed at £4,000, and they're happy with it. Why am I going to risk that and show them your bed at £5,000?
Yes.
And I think, well, risk what? you know,
Yeah.
If they try it and they don't like it, then you've qualified them on that £4,000.
Yes.
If they try it and they do like it, all of a sudden you've just got an extra £1,000 out of them.
Yes.
So there's kind of nothing to lose, but it's just getting the staff on the floor just to have that confidence to say, "Oh, look, we've got some. Come and have a look while you're here. Yeah. While you're here, come and have a look at this. Come and tell me what you think. Oh, it's new, you know."
Yes.
And try it. And the biggest challenge in beds is getting people on the beds.
Yes.
And getting them on it and getting them comfortable.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Brilliant. So what do you think's changed most in our industry in the time that you've been working?
I think customers' perception. If I think back to when I started, anything over £500, people sort of took a sharp intake of breath.
Yeah.
And if you'd asked somebody then how much is a decent bed, a good bed, they would probably, you'd find it rare to find someone that would say over £1,500 for a bed. And so I think now people's perception of brands is higher, and their expectations on how much a good bed costs has gone up. And again, 20 years ago, if you had asked someone to name 3 bed brands, I'm not sure they could have done. Silent Night, probably, and they would have probably struggled a bit past then.
Yeah.
But I think now a lot of the manufacturers have done quite a good job in building their own brands, which in turn helps bring customers' expectations higher and therefore prices higher. And I think a lot of that was led by Tempo when they started in the marketplace. And all of a sudden, I think their starting point, I'm talking back then, was, I don't know, £1,000 or something like that. Yes. Bear in mind, the average bed was probably 500 at the time.
Yeah.
It was very similar to when Dyson came in the market. If you remember, Dyson came in with the vacuum cleaner, and all of a sudden, vacuum cleaners cost £99. They were coming in with vacuum cleaners at £250.
Yes.
But what it did was raise everybody.
Yes.
And it raised everything. And I think Temper did a lot for that in terms of educating people as to how much you need to spend for a decent bed, good bed.
Yeah. I think actually it's happened, when just thinking about what you're saying there, I think that's happened even in the mid-sector as well, hasn't it? With if I look back at the start of e-commerce, where it was very much directory, what I'd say is directory of what was on shop floors, and it sort of moved in recent years, hasn't it, to the mattress only brands, Eve, Simba, Casper, when they were around. But they placed the mattress market where it was hovering around £300 to £500-600. So I think even them have had a positive impact on driving up perception of how much beds and mattresses are.
Yes, and because you buy a bed so infrequently, you don't really know. I think so. The fact that all these brands they push out a lot online as well, on the socials online. Yeah, it raises everybody's awareness as to what the benefits are of a good night's sleep, and how much that costs. So that's probably the one thing I think that's changed a lot over the years, is how much.
And Carpe Diem, so your starting level of beds?
So we operate in the sort of £4,000 to £10,000 mark.
4,000 to 10,000,
Yeah. So it's nice money, and it's aspirational money, but it's not crazy money.
No.
So that's what I say. We're sort of top of the high street is how I describe it. So 4 to 10, you get yourself a fabulous bed.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's fantastic. Should we do some quickfire questions?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I've got them here.
Okay, what do you want to know?
So we're going to go in, and I've got 4 quickfire questions.
Okay.
So our first question is, what will matter more in the next 5 years? Sustainability, technology, craftsmanship, or experience?
I think technology.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Where we're sat right now at the moment, if anybody doesn't think AI is going to affect their business, then they've got their head in the sand. And I don't just necessarily mean about the products.
No.
I mean in terms of your CRM systems, your delivery systems, your customer service department, and also development of products, how to get that lean manufacturing done really efficiently. I think technology is going to change everything over the next 5 years. The other things, of course, are all important, but with the technology, I think it's going to happen whether we like it or not. And again, some companies will run into it. And I say the bed industry generally is a bit shy when it comes to these things. But
so if you're not investing in your technology right now,
invest in it. And I say not maybe necessarily. I'm not suggesting Optimus robots on the floor, but in terms of behind the scenes, customer service, deliveries, booking deliveries, keeping customers up to date. The ins and outs of goods. It will make all of that so efficient. I think it'll have huge change on the business.
I think you're right. Okay, question number 2. Good answer. If you weren't in the bed industry, what would you be doing?
What would I be doing? Well, I was going to be a professional footballer, but there's no money in it. There's no money in it. So beds is where the safe money is. I don't know. I would like to think I would almost certainly still be in or involved in retail. Other aspects that I like, watches, I'd be hopefully working for Rolex or something like that. Who knows? Who knows? That would be would be my other.
But retail is in the blood.
I think so. I think I would. I think I would. Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, our third question is: one thing every customer should do before buying a bed.
Before buying one, I would suggest 2 things. One, stay at the most expensive hotel that you can afford to stay at, and see what their bed's like. Most people have never slept on a good bed.
No.
Most people.
Goodness.
And often what triggers a change in a bed is they go on holiday and they sleep like they've never slept before. And it's because of the bed. So I would say try the best that within your budget. And that's different to everybody. Try the best within your budget. And also, one thing customers don't do, but really ought to do, is measure their bedroom before they come.
Because
you ask 10 people, what size bed? 9 of those 10 will say king. And half of them don't know what they mean by it, but it's terminology. It's what they know. If you can get a bigger bed in your room, again, the difference it makes is extraordinary. And I talk about length as well. I mean, I've got a 210 length bed.
Yeah.
And the difference it makes to have a longer bed.
Yeah.
And it's a 180 wide.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary the difference it makes. So
that is
measure your room, and you'll be surprised what you can fit in.
And in fact, actually, I've been on the floor quite a lot over the last few weeks, and I've said to quite a few customers where a double bed. When you think about a double bed, 2 people, and it only gives you 2'3" space each.
Yeah.
Well, a standard single is 3 foot.
Yeah.
So, a king is only 2'6". So, it's really,
2'6" the size
really
of a child's crib. I mean,
it is, yes. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the double is even smaller. So I think that is a really important thing.
Yeah.
The bigger you can fit.
Yes.
I mean, we've got a 6 foot, but it is taken up with 2 dogs as well. So I know it's not hygienic, but they just won't have it any other way. Okay, 4th and final question. Here we go. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received in business?
I think I don't recall ever receiving it, but if I flip that and say if I could go back and I wish I had received in business, I would just say to think big.
Yeah.
Just think big.
Yeah.
And what could something be? If you just, and I'm talking, you could say that in any aspect of it. So I'll give you an example. When I was at Toys R Us, when I first started, I thought, what would it be if I could be a manager of a toy? Yeah. And then I'd done that by the age of 23.
Yes.
And I thought, well, I've got a long way to go now.
Yeah,
yeah. But what I didn't think was, what if I was the, European sales manager for Toys R Us, and you might settle down a little bit lower and just become the UK director. But I'd put this sort of glass ceiling in place, thinking, well, what if? But again, in business, just think bigger. Yes. Think bigger. Rather than with Carpe Diem now, I've got 14 points of sales. Well, what if we had 50?
50.
Yeah. But then you could start to work backwards and say, well, okay, what would it take to get to 50? It's like stores. When I speak to stores, I always say, well, next year, I think we're going to double the business next year.
Yeah.
And they always go, if I went in and said, I think about 5 to 8% growth, Absolutely. They would go, okay, and wouldn't say anything else about it. But if you say, we're going to double or we're going to triple the business,
Absolutely.
They go, what are you talking about, double the business? But then you can play the what if game. Okay, well, let's just pretend that we do triple the business next year.
Yeah.
What would it have taken to have done that?
Yeah.
And that, well, we would need more footfall. Okay, so we would have needed products. Okay, so if I give you that product and I speak to the marketing department and I do that, then all of a sudden it sort of falls into place.
How do I? Questions, doesn't it? A BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. It starts those questions of, okay, well, if we want to achieve that, what do we need to achieve that? And if you don't have that big goal, then you're not going to even start thinking of those things that would get you there.
Exactly. I'd say if you said to somebody, growth next year 5%, nobody will question you on it.
Oh, right.
And you probably will do 5%.
And at the end of the year, you go, well, I've done my 5%.
I've done my 5%. Let's all give ourselves a pat on the back.
But if you go for 50 and get 30.
Get 30.
Yeah.
So just put in whatever you're doing, just think bigger. Just think bigger.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great advice. Great advice. In fact, actually, I think that's the tip of the week. Yeah.
Okay.
Tip of the week.
Yeah.
Think big.
Yeah.
Think big.
Yeah.
Great questions, by the way, Vic. They're awesome questions. Well, that's it for our
Perfect.
podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming across and travelling from Oxford to come and be part of our podcast.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been really informative. Even for myself. So,
Very good.
Who's been in the industry again a long time.
Great. Keep up with the work. This is really good.
So, right, we'll wrap things up here. So next week we are being joined by by Mark Shine, our area manager, our regional manager of our stores, and he's going to be talking about his progression through our company and his life as a regional manager and the challenges that brings in daily and weekly and
great
hourly.
Look forward to it.
So we've got Mark coming on next week, and that's a wrap. So don't forget, we have new episodes dropping every single Wednesday, so don't forget to tune in. And if you want more unfiltered business talk, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube and LinkedIn at An Unorthodox CEO. Oh, yes.
Great.
Yeah, so there we go.
Yes.
I'll finish off by just saying, if you are listening in the morning, you've just woken up from your Sussex bed or your Carpe Diem bed.
Yes, of
yeah,
course. .co.uk. Yeah.
.co.uk.
Yeah.
Then good morning and thank you for listening. Yes. If you're walking the dog, as I was this morning at 6 o'clock, and you're listening on your headphones, have a lovely walk. The sun is beginning to come up earlier. Yes. It was very dark when I went out, but as I got back, it was lightening up. And if you're going to bed, listening to our dulcet tones, then thank you very much and good night.
Okay, great rehearsal. When are we going to record this?
Okay, did we press record?
Yeah.
We are. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Well done.
Good. Woo.